Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. So I'm looking on my computer right now. I'm in my office. I'm just going through some of the comments on the latest video I posted. And someone reached out via the comments and asked an interesting question. And the question requires more than just a couple sentence answer. I'm going to need to do a whole video for this response. This particular person reached out to me via the comments and asked, they do a 200-mile commute one time a week. So they're looking at the Model 3 long range to have, maximum range. They want to know what they should buy now, or should they wait till next year when they have more money to put towards like a bigger down payment or even pay cash for the vehicle. They also want to know how much they need to earn, salary or income-wise, to be able to afford a brand new Model 3 long range. Can they qualify? And their current vehicle now requires premium gasoline, and so that's obviously costing quite a bit in fuel costs. So there's not a simple answer to this, but I want to give my suggestions. Guys, if you have suggestions for this particular individual, or you're maybe in the same situation, leave your comments down below. Let's crunch the numbers. I have 3 suggestions, and we're going to go through the numbers and kind of see how they stack up. Okay, guys, so in this first scenario, we're going to talk about buying a brand new Tesla Model 3 long range. Right now, we're in December of 2023. There are some incentives. I couldn't find any discounts on brand new Model 3 in-stock vehicles, so the cheapest one I could find is just the base price ones, the MSRP price. So $45,990 is the cheapest new Model 3 long range I could find on Tesla.com in my area. There is a destination fee of $13.90 and a $250 order fee. That brings the total price before tax, registration, and other fees $47,630. I'm figuring a 7.25% sales tax. That's the sales tax rate in my area that I pay. Yours could be higher or lower, but let's just go off that number for right now. So $34.53 is the tax. So total out the door price, excluding registration, because that can vary greatly between states, $51,083.18. So if you're not going to put much money down, you'll need to qualify for a loan for $50,000 to be able to afford a new Model 3 long range. Now, there is a tax credit available. The tax credit doesn't get deducted when you buy the car. It comes off of your taxes the following year. So you'd get it like in April or March of 2024, and you could put that towards the loan if you borrowed money on it. Let's go with the option of financing. I've never leased a vehicle, so I'm not as familiar with leasing. I'm always scared about the, as far as the mileage limitations. Usually they only give me 10,000 miles, and there's a big down payment required and so forth. So let's look at a financing option, actually purchasing the vehicle financing. So Tesla, if you go through Tesla financing, which is pretty simple to get qualified, you have a very easy process. They require at least $4,500 down. So let's just say you do that. $4,500 down, 84 months, 6.5% interest rate. Yours could be a little higher or lower, but that's just an example. And that would mean $4,500 off of the $51,883. That would mean the total amount borrowed, $46,583, and then that would give you a monthly payment of $691, so almost $700 a month. So you'd need to be able to comfortably afford $691 a month to be able to, kind of buy this car is what we're looking at here. Now, let's say you buy this in December, your payment, January, February, March, April of next year would be $691. Tax credit's going to come in the form of a credit on your taxes. Let's just assume that you qualify for the tax credit. You have to have incomes below certain levels depending on your adjusted gross income, and your tax liability has to be at least $7,500 in order to realize the full gain of the credit. But let's say you qualify for the full credit amount. You would get the credit probably March, April timeframe. So let's assume you get it in April of 2024, and you've made 3 payments towards the principal on this, and you're now the balance on your loan is $45,000. Since you've made a couple payments towards the principal, you've reduced it down. Let's just say $500 of the payment went towards the principal. Subtract out, now this is assuming you take the full $7,500 and apply it to the balance of the loan, and then you refinance the loan a new balance amount of $37,500. You can refinance it at the same terms, 84 months, 6.5% interest. That would give you a monthly payment of $556 a month. That's assuming that you apply the credit to your loan balance. So really, you're going to need to be able to qualify or comfortably afford close to a $700, let's just say $550 to $700 per month car payment is what you would need to be able to comfortably afford a new Tesla Model 3 long range. Okay, so here's suggestion number 2. This is probably something to consider, especially if you're wondering, well, affordability, you want the most affordable kind of car you can get right now. Just getting into Tesla for a first time, buying a used one's not a bad idea, especially because there's a used vehicle tax credit if the car's under 25,000 miles and you meet the income requirements for that. I'll leave a link to more information on the used EV tax credit. So I went on cars.com. Cars.com, I have an app, cars.com. I use cars.com, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, and then my local classifieds if I'm looking for a car. I went on cars.com and I just searched Model 3 long range used rear wheel drive because those have the longest range of 325 miles when they were new, like in 2018, 2019. It'd be a good substitution for a new Model 3 long range. And after just a couple minutes, there's a lot of options under $25,000. Now, if you qualify for the EV tax credit of $4,000, it needs to be under $25,000. So there's one, for example, I found the price was $24,495. It was a 2018 Model 3 long range, 68,000 miles. It probably charges a little bit less than 325 now, probably around 300 miles because it does lose some range capacity over time. But this one in particular has the full self-driving capability. You want to make sure that you're getting one, if you're buying a used one, that it has at least autopilot. Enhanced autopilot is nice. Full self-driving is a huge bonus. That's a $12,000 option on a new car. So you can get one for $24,495. Let's assume this dealer has a dock fee of $200, so we add that, the $24,695. Assuming the same sales tax rate of 7.25, that gives us about $1,700 in sales tax. Total price of the car, $26,270. Now, if we take a loan out for that amount, let's say we don't put no money down, we finance the entire amount, 72 months at 6.5%, $441 a month for this car. That's a more affordable payment than $700 a month for a brand new one, right? Now, let's just assume that this person qualifies for the $4,000 EV tax credit because this car it has to be from a dealer, there has to be a few other stipulations, but if they qualify for it, it will come in the form of a credit come tax time next year. And when the tax credit comes in April of 24, you would have paid a couple of payments, maybe 2, 3, or 4 payments, depending on how long it takes to get your tax credit back, towards the balance. This is the balance that you originally started on the loan, and then every time you make a $441 payment, part of that, let's just call it $380 a month, goes towards principal, the rest goes towards interest. So over 4 or 5 months, you will pay this down. So let's just assume you've paid it down to $25,070. Okay, let's just use that as an example. So in April, your balance is now this, and then you get the tax credit into your bank account. You then take that $4,000, you apply it to the balance of the loan, $25,070. Now you have a balance of $21,070. You now go and refinance that so that you can get a lower payment. And that, therefore, if we do the same terms that we did before, 72 months at 6.5%, that would bring our payment down to $354 a month. So it almost drops at $100, about $90 less per month because we're applying the tax credit to our monthly payment. That payment right there is a lot more affordable for this type of car, $354 a month. That's a very affordable payment. You probably shouldn't have too much trouble qualifying for that kind of a payment if you have decent credit and a decent income coming in. So $354 a month would be your payment going forward after tax time next year. The third suggestion that I have, this is probably what I would recommend, maybe above buying the used one, but this is obviously just my opinion. I would buy a brand new rear-wheel drive 2023 Model 3. The reason why is it does get 272 miles of range new. So even though if you do a 200-mile commute once a week, that car can still probably do that commute without being charged. But I would go onto the map. There's a couple apps I would download. I would download the ChargePoint app, the PlugShare app, and I'd even look on the Tesla website and look under the supercharger locations and see what superchargers are available. Let's say you get close to the limit on this commute. If it's cold weather, if it's got a lot of elevation change, it's really hot, you're using the air conditioning a lot, it might get close to the limit of using that. If you have to stop at a supercharger for 5 minutes and pay $3 or $4 of fees to charge your car once a week, this would still probably be worth it than paying $10,000 more for the long-range version. So this rear-wheel drive Model 3, the base price is like $38,990 or $490, but they're almost $3,000 off. So if you can get it for $35,090, which is in my local area, that's what you can find them for, $3,000 off right now in December of 2023. There's a destination fee of $1,390, an order fee of $250. That brings the total price $36,730, and then plus taxes of $2,662. That brings our price kind of out the door price. This is before registration fees. So this is your total out the door price. Now, if you do Tesla financing and you do the minimum $4,500 down on the car, okay, that brings the borrowed amount that you're going to borrow, $34,892. If you borrow that 6.5% for 84 months, you have an initial monthly payment of $518. This is in December, right? December, you got your payment. January, February, March, April, you got your payment. You've paid several payments into your balance of your loan here. After a few months, you'll say you've paid off $1,200 of this amount. The new balance of the loan is $33,690. You then get the tax credit of $7,500 on this car. It comes in April, March or April of next year. You take that amount, you apply it to the balance of this loan. Now the balance of the loan is $26,192. So then you refinance that amount so that way you can reduce your payment. You can also reduce the amount of interest that you're going to be paying. So instead of paying interest on 33 or the 34,000, you're only paying on 26,000 now. At 84 months, 6.5%, that brings your payment to $388 a month for a brand new Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. The reason I probably like this option best is, yeah, even though the long range is going to get almost 60 miles more of range, you probably don't need that amount, especially with the amount of superchargers. So I'd see what chargers are available, both public and for Tesla superchargers available. Also to see that, make sure you have, charging set up at your house. But this Model 3 rear-wheel drive has the LFP batteries, and what that means is it's the type of battery chemistry that likes to be charged to 100% on a regular basis. So you keep it charged at 100% all the time. It doesn't damage or hurt the battery. It doesn't reduce the life of it. So you can have this thing charged up to 272 miles. Yeah, that's going to go slightly down, but if I'm going on that 200-mile commute, I'm just going to drive really conservatively, stay well under the speed limit, drive it carefully, and you could probably do that trip with this car, and look how much you're saving. You're saving almost $10,000 versus a long range. This has a brand new warranty. You've got 8 years of battery and motor warranty. You've got the bumper-to-bumper warranty for the first portion of the ownership of the vehicle as well. So this would be my recommendation. I would go with either the long-range used one, that's a 2018 that we talked about, or this option here, because this is so highly discounted, $35,000 for a brand new Model 3 rear-wheel drive. That's a heck of a deal right now. And if you get the full tax credit, guys, that just makes a brand new vehicle very affordable right now, under $400 a month for the rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3. Guys, well, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully this was helpful or informative, especially if you're shopping for a Tesla. Maybe you're a new Tesla owner and you're looking to get into a Tesla for the first time. Right now, the end of 2023, there are some great discounts on in inventory Model 3 and Ys, which, as you can see, kind of make a little more sense than used ones, even with the deals on the used ones. I would also say if you qualify for the tax credit on the used ones, those are definitely worth looking at. But again, those are on vehicles that are under $25,000. So it's going to be a Model 3 or a Model S that probably has a lot of miles on it. So buying a new one, if you're just getting into a Tesla for the first time, it might make sense to buy a new one. That way you don't have to worry about the warranty. You've got 8 years of kind of trouble-free or worry-free time frame where you can get used to the car. Guys, leave your comments down below. I'm curious what you think or what your suggestions for this individual would be given these different scenarios, given this information. Guys, I appreciate the comments. Thanks for reaching out. Hopefully this was helpful. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.